My differentiation lasted about an hour.
My differentiation was quite brief. It lasted about 45 minutes.
Well, my differentiation was slightly different to others in that it happened in 2 stages. So the first session was probably about an hour and a half, and then the second session, which is probably more typical, lasted just an hour.
It was different than I expected. It was myself in front of a panel of 3 lecturers. It was more like a conversation rather than just kind of sitting down answering questions.
I ended up really enjoying it, which sounds like a strange thing to say. I was very nervous going into it, but having my supervisors there and having some familiar faces from the school made it a bit easier, and I found after a few minutes I just relaxed into it and was able to just enjoy the conversation.
They offered me the opportunity to have my supervisor leave the room so that we could discuss some of the issues I'd raised. Then there was a period where I was invited to leave the room, and my supervisor had a discussion with the panel, after which we met again, and on this occasion it was decided that the issues needed to have some more time and we needed to work through them, so the actual differentiation itself was postponed for 4 weeks to give us the time to work through these issues and then to meet again. And then for the second process, it went kind of much quicker.
I think the top tips I would give students when they're actually sort of getting ready for their differentiation are, first of all, to look at the instructions that they've been given. So we give quite detailed guidelines, for example, how long the document should be, what should be included, and then our students ignore it.
Talk to us about your research. How does your research fit into other pieces of research?
Be prepared to answer questions fully. So, kind of 1 or 2 word answers are kind of not particularly helpful.
Be concise. If an examiner asks you, talk to us about your research project, give us a brief summary of it, don't take 20 minutes to do it.
I think the other thing sometimes is we will ask questions and you may feel, oh, I've already put that in my documents. Why are they asking me about that? Because actually, haven't they read it? Didn't they realise that's on page 33, paragraph 5? And actually, we do, but actually, sometimes we need to actually sort of tease out a little bit more about that, get a little bit more detail.
It's also rather like an interview in that it might be worth preparing some responses. So try to second guess the kind of questions that your panellists are going to ask you. Of course, they're definitely going to ask you something you've never thought of.
One of the other panel members asked me a question I didn't fully understand at the beginning, and I kind of asked him to repeat it and be more clear in what he was wanting from me. And after that, I got it, it clicked.
I just took a moment to think it through. I think sometimes you feel the pressure to speak really quickly when there's a question, but I just paused, took a moment to kind of gather my thoughts, answered as best I could, and then thanked them for the question and for giving me something else to think about.
What's usually behind the question is to get the student to think a bit more deeply, sometimes even to offer alternative ways of thinking and preparing for the future.
Your reviewers are also likely to be interested in asking things about the methodologies that you're using, and also the scope of the PhD. What are its parameters? Is it achievable within the 3 years?
They really probed me on the feasibility of my PhD and the time frame and whether I was going to be able to carry it all out in the funding period.
You can have a great vision, for example, I'm going to cure X, Y and Z, but actually you're probably not in the lifetime of your PhD, so you need to think about how you're going to achieve these things in very short pieces.
One of the things which we quite often ask students to think about are potential problems.
And what we're really looking for whenever we sit on a panel is that you are able to think critically, that you're able to think independently, that you can identify a gap in whatever your research area is that hasn't been researched before.
You'll have got to the point where you're maybe identifying what is original about your work, and it's a good opportunity therefore to talk with your panel members about how that originality might be taken forward and established.
The other thing I would say is to find out about the panel, the people that you're presenting to, do a bit of research on their backgrounds and understand their own areas of expertise.
Don't forget, the examiners or the people that are on the panel, they're not going to be as familiar with your particular niche area of research as you are.
We also, are likely to ask questions about, if they've done training.
Another aspect is for the school and for the university to check with you that things are working, that supervisory arrangements work well, and also the resources here at Queen's are really supporting the work that you want to do.
Differentiation isn't so much of an exam, it's an opportunity to promote your work, it's an opportunity to have other people give advice and direction if needed, and it's an opportunity to discuss the technical details of your project, so use the full potential of the differentiation.
Here is a chance for people who haven't seen your work as process, who are only seeing the finished piece, to come in and look at it with fresh eyes. And it's perfectly permissible for you to discuss with your panel members the direction the work might take. So that's a great opportunity as well.
And as long as you're really interested in your research and you have done the work, you should be fine.